this weekend had an awesome weekend. I got my motorcycle license. Unfortunately, at the same time, our Vespa wouldn't start. So, my dad was left all alone to fix the Vespa. So this video will show you how to change a sticky Bendix gear and the Variator rollers.
When you hear that sound, it's most likely going to be one of two things. Either your battery's not putting out enough juice, or your Bendix gear got sticky. The first step is removing the air filter cover. As you can see, I've started with the air filter cover off. You can see how to do this in my video on how to clean the air filter. Use an 8mm socket to remove the retaining bolt so that you can remove the kickstand. You can then remove the kickstart lever. Use a flathead screwdriver to gently pry off the plastic cover. Cut the plastic zip tie and remove the hose from the air manifold. Insert the clutch holder tool. Using a 19mm socket, remove the drive, pulley, axle, lock nut, and washer. Unlike the video, this is going to take a lot of force. Once the nuts are removed, you can remove the clutch holder tool. Using an 8mm socket, remove the 10 bolts holding the transmission cover on. If you have a power driver, you can manually loosen the bolts and then use that to take them out. Remove the oil dipstick, but be careful to not let anything fall into the hole or it could damage your engine. Lift the air filter cover out of the way and gently remove the transmission cover. Now reinstall the oil dipstick. Remove and inspect the clutch drum. Check the clutch friction material. The minimum can be 1mm. Attach the Variator holder. You'll need to use one of the 8mm transmission cover bolts. Using an 18mm socket, remove the Variator nut. Make sure you keep the nut and all the washers in the same order so you can reassemble them. Now it's time to remove the outer half of the drive pulley. Now you need to pull the Bendix gear straight out. Remove the washer and the bushing and keep it in the same order for reassembly. Move the belt out of the way and remove the other half of the pulley. Make sure that the rollers don't fall out. Using some WD-40, thoroughly flush out the Bendix gear while moving the parts. This will dislodge all the gunk. Make sure you clean out between the gear teeth. Use some compressed air to make sure you blow out any remaining WD-40. You can see how freely the gear moves now. You need to make sure when you take out the rollers that you put them in the same way. You can mark a dot on the housing to make you remember which way they go. The new roller and shoe is on the left. The old roller and shoe is on the right. Use a shop towel to wipe off any debris from the clutch drum. Make sure that the clutch drum is thoroughly clean. Make sure you wear safety goggles, and if you're like me, wear rubber gloves to make sure your nails don't get ruined. Use a green pad to really scrub off any of the nastiness. With a new shop towel, make sure to clean off any remaining brake fluid. Repeat those 3 steps with both the inner and outer pulleys. You can cut the green pad to fit in where the roller sits. You need to scrub really hard to get it clean. Make sure to take note of how the old shoes were positioned. You need to install the new shoes the same way. Wipe off any debris. Install the new shoes. Install the new Variator rollers. Make sure they're facing in the correct direction. Install the metal bushing. Install the inner half pulley. In reality, this is nearly impossible. We tried 5 times and the rollers kept falling out. Eventually, a helper came along and tilted the scooter. That way we could install it at an angle. Slide the drive belt over the bushing. Use a light coating of white silicone grease on the end of the shaft of the Bendix gear where it goes into the transmission cover. Install the washer and the outer half pulley. Reinstall the washers with a new Variator nut. There's a funny looking washer that's called a bush. Make sure it's properly aligned with the teeth on the shaft. Put a light amount of Loctite on the shaft. Press the bush against the shaft as you go to hand tighten the nut to keep it in proper position. Torque the Variator nut to somewhere in between 75 and 83 Newton meters. Remove the Variator holder. Remove the oil dipstick and reinstall the clutch drum. Carefully fit the transmission cover in place. Reinstall the oil dipstick. Apply some Loctite to each of the 10 transmission cover bolts. Reinstall the 10 transmission cover bolts. We couldn't find an appropriate torque value. We used the Untitled method. Oh look! Here's the torque values. The cover bolts get torqued to about 11 to 13 Newton meters. Insert the clutch holder tool. The drive pulley nut gets torqued to about 54 to 60 Newton meters. Remove the clutch holder tool and reinstall the air manifold hose. Snap on the plastic cover. Reassemble the Kickstarter lever. Then reassemble the air filter cover and body panels.
When you're finished and you go to start the Vespa, you may hear that same noise. If you do, just tap the starter about 4 to 6 times. The teeth have to align. Then you'll hear the engine engage, and it'll be fine.